Good morning. This morning, we're so excited on Workforce Resources Expo to get to talk to Pamela Crombie from Jobs for Ohio's Graduates. It's a terrific program we have here in Medina County, and we're excited to hear about it. How are you today, Pamela?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today, Kathy?
We're doing great. Everything's good because we're talking about JOG. So
Woo!
tell us, what do you guys do?
So we're Jobs for Ohio's Graduates, and we work with young adults who are between the ages of 14 to 24. We have a couple different program applications, but we focus with the 14 to 24 age, and we focus with kids who are in school providing preventative services. So those young adults who are looking or potentially have some barriers, we want to create opportunity to help develop their soft skill, ensure that they're on track to graduate, and then also work on that career pathway so they can have that successful transition from school to work or college, whatever is most appropriate and what they're looking to do. We also have an out of school program. So those students could have already disengaged from high school, or they could be a high school graduate, but just still not sure what they want to do with that next step. So we work with them to either provide their high school equivalency training, soft skill development, career pathway. And again, we want them to make that next successful transition to that world of work so they can become productive, meaningful members of our society.
Yeah, because that 18 to 24 piece, those kids all need to figure out what to do because obviously high school's over.
Well, it is. And, a lot of times sometimes we forget what it's like to be a young person. And it's actually really scary when you've lived in, a bubble, for a lack of better words. You've had everything planned out for you. And then when you're starting to figure it out for yourself, even though sometimes, you're young and you think you know it all, but then when you're really stepping out into it, it's scary. And it's helpful to have people to help you navigate those processes, whether it's, your financial aid, to go into college, or filling out your first, tax forms for your work, or what do employers expect? And just the communication and everything that surround those components is just so incredibly important. And again, it can be very scary. I hate saying that, but it's nerve-wracking. I still get nervous, sometimes just talking to people. So to have that coaching and that mentorship, and at the end of the day, we're that person for that young person. And we ultimately, again, it all comes down to making that successful transition in every way possible. So while we do, the workforce, we do education, we tend to be a broker of services, and anything that we can do to help move that dial for the young person is what we're here to do.
That's terrific. I mean, that really sounds like you're filling a major need. So how can employers support you? How can they get involved?
So there is a lot of different ways, but the best way for employers is part of our programming is we run work experience programs for our young adults, because how can you get more meaningful job experience other than by being on the job? So we have an opportunity where you can interview with our participants. We do focus a lot on trying to make meaningful career pathway transitions. So if a young adult is telling us that they are interested in cosmetology, in manufacturing, whatever their specific interest is, we want to line that up with a local employer. Not only can you get that meaningful experience, but it's also a nice mentorship for that young person as well. It allows them to really explore what that career is about and see how this entry-level position can expand and grow. It's a wonderful opportunity. We would love to have more employers involved. I will say Medina County is wonderful. We always have great employers. So wherever we can expand, we'd love to. And if for some reason your company doesn't have a need, you don't necessarily have a need to have a worker. If you're looking to help mentor a young person, or we'd like to sponsor a young individual to help them get their high school equivalency, et cetera, there's multiple ways to get involved. But I would say our biggest one is definitely our work experience programs. And if you're wondering if there is a financial cost, there's a couple options. We do have programming that allows you to directly hire them on, and then we can provide a subsidy up to a certain dollar amount. And then we have another option of they're just placed at your job site, and a third party covers their wages. So it's no cost to you up front.
So helping a young person who is in a tough situation and getting them work experience, and there might be financial incentive, this sounds like a win for everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, And sometimes I'm kind of a pie in the sky, but I love young people. I love them, and they're often overlooked. And at the end of the day, there's a common phrase that goes around about how the youth, they're the opportunity of the future. And I couldn't disagree more. They're the opportunity now. Everything that we do shapes our young people for today and for that next step. We're all a product of our experiences. So the opportunities, again, that we provide to them today can have lasting impacts for the rest of their life. And that in itself is pretty freaking awesome when you think about it. You can change someone's trajectory for the rest of their life. Actually, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
That is incredible. Like, that's just so exciting and so amazing to think we could be in that role and set somebody on that path. So thank you very much. This is very exciting. Information will be at the end of the video on how to get in touch with JOG, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.